So the so I sent out the administration. I'm the administrator. They get tied up in court. So it's pretty much impossible to tie the administrators up in court. It's pretty much impossible to lock them in a courtroom. Specifically, it's pretty much impossible. You could be a criminal and do it, but being educated, you could send them back down the path they came. But you cannot lock them in a court, because the U.S. Marshal actually uses that. The U.S. Marshal locks people in a courtroom. And because the U.S. Marshal uses that, that's their side of argument. So because that's their side of argument, anyone that would ever have that in their side would be called a criminal, because they are not the U.S. Marshals, and their argument you'll never have an argument that's theirs, ever. So they're employees. It's employment is a pre-design. The design of the task takes the required work action, and so they got sent out, and they're locked in court, and it's homosexual. So I'm like, the law explains person, and explains that a person's choice is a body representation. And if the choice of the person is body is in representation, then there can't be a crime. A person can get "fuck cops" tattooed on his fucking forehead and go wherever the fuck he wants. His body physically represents a growth that's impossible to present a crime. Granted, he put ink inside his skin, but when he ages, his skin will pull and the ink will run. His body will grow in that extent. And it's not a crime to say "fuck cops" anyways. So they kidnap the administrators, and so they're like, "Oh, I can't wait till he makes up words." I'm like, make up words? The Federal Reserve was shut down. I'm gonna use nothing but id, tis, first, second, third, fourth, id, tid, did, literally. So because those are all financial terms on top of it, and not only are they financial terms, they're person's placement terms. So they kidnap the administrators, and so the law says you take on your own force. That's not force. You slap a donkey on his ass. That's why, because I overthrew the political parties, I took a political party out, because sooner or later I'm going to say, when you slap a donkey on his ass, the donkey goes running. That doesn't mean you force the donkey to run. So, which the law understands, abuse does not mean that you committed an act of force. It's so yeah. So So I sent the administrators out. They were supposed to come back. They were kidnapped by, and I'm undisputed, the administrator, the, so the implementation of force is not a crime. The implementation of a force is not a crime. So the implementation of a force by block is not a crime. That's what they do. When you kidnap the administrator, you take out one word and you try to control the sentence, the law says. So the person's torts is all force is a criminal act, and all. So to implement a block means you didn't implement a force, you implemented a space. So implementing a space is not implementing a force. You send the administrators out by implementing a space, which is what I did very powerfully, and they went very quick, very stern, covered a lot of ground. So they kidnapped him in court. I don't even got any money. Look,
Where's my money?
yeah,
Be here tomorrow.
nice. Can I buy a cigarette from you, boss? Freezing out there. Can I buy a cigarette from you? Can I buy a cigarette from you? Can I buy a cigarette from you? Thank you. You got a light? How much they pay you? $13.50? How much they pay you? $13.50? 18? That's not bad. That's like $2,400 a week. That's not bad. Yeah, so there's a major lawsuit. The education department was sued for not integrating truthful employment practice in their career transitioning in high school. And basically it said that you could force the employer to give you tiered hours in employment, which would make the person able to be an administrator in the employment, furthering, his want to be educated or whatnot. So anyways, so they kidnapped the administrator with homosexuality. So yeah.